Have you ever noticed that no matter where you live or whatever you're doing, there are always a handful of chronic complainers? I live in an active 55 plus community, and I've seen a ton of negative videos about 55 plus communities. So I hope you stick with me because in this video, I'm going to share the reasons why the community lifestyle just might be the perfect place for you. I recently watched a YouTube video of a person who dramatically ranted about why you should never ever move to one of those communities. We all have our differences and how we like to live our lives. And I will be the first to say that the 55 plus community is not for everybody, but it certainly is a wonderful choice for thousands of us who enjoy the active socialization, especially for those who are a little bit on the shy side, those who have trouble joining in from time to time. These active communities, they have a way of making you feel included and valued. So in the ranting video I watched, the gal said she moved to a 55 plus community. And obviously, she didn't check the pros and cons before making that choice. But she talked about how disgusting it was because everybody there were so old. She talked of how people were either sick or dying nearly every day. She said she was playing pickleball with somebody one day, and 4 days later, she found out that they died of a heart attack. Well, I'm sorry, but this person displayed very little compassion for the elderly. I want to share another side of life with elderly neighbors. And I suppose I can be included in that age group because at the age of 75, I fall right in the middle of the age bracket for these communities. Yes, living in a 55 plus community makes you very aware of mortality. We hear an ambulance enter the gates quite often. And because we have people in our community ranging from that young age of 55 all the way up to 100. And yes, we do have neighbors who are passing away. That's one thing we all have in common is we're all going to die someday. Most of us who live in our community have a different outlook than the woman in that video. Here we have compassion for our friends and our neighbors, the ones whose health is beginning to fail. We want to be like that person who played pickleball one day and died 4 days later. How wonderful to live in an active lifestyle right up to your death. When you live in a 55 plus community, those various physical activities encourage us to stay active, and we keep our bodies as active and healthy as long as we can. That's one of the main reasons that we move to these communities. The activities, whether they're physical or sedentary activities, there's always something there to do. We look out for one another. And as we're getting older, we know our neighbors are going to look out after us also. I'm going to use my husband as an example in several circumstances, but other people exhibit the same type of compassion. My husband's good friend, Phil, is older than us. We celebrated his 80th birthday on a cruise, and 1 month later, Phil had a stroke, and he's now paralyzed on his right side. Phil always loved to read, but now he has blurred vision in one eye, and he's lost the ability to enjoy reading like he used to. Since that stroke more than a year ago, my husband has gone over to read to his friend for a half hour, 4 to 5 days a week. Another example, we had a 92-year-old lady who passed away a few years ago. When we first met her, it was her 90th birthday, and neighbors had a drive-by birthday golf cart parade and presented her with a birthday cake. My husband took his ukulele and he sang to her. He became close friends with her, and whenever we'd host one of our karaoke events in which she attended, he made a point of dancing with her once or twice during the evening. When she took ill and was on hospice, he went to visit her at her house regularly, and he'd sing to her. The day she passed away, she asked her daughter if Sean could come over and sing. He did. he was able to give this elderly widow lady who was failing in health the feeling of being loved and cared for by her friends and neighbors right up to the end. And this is only a couple of examples of how our community pulls together for one another. But don't leave yet, because this is not all about being old and dying. It is also about staying active, playing pickleball. One of our volleyball players is 92 years old, and he's a pretty good pickleball player. And he'd be the first to tell you, no, he's 92 and a half. We have a huge shuffleboard group, tennis, bocce ball. We also have card games and quilting and pottering and weekly dances with monthly dance themes. There's a wood shop, a lapidary club, a fitness center. There's so much to do that you would never get bored, and it encourages us to stay healthy and active. Because as we all know, staying active helps keep us healthier for a longer period of time. It's healthy not only for our bodies, but for our mental capacity as well. Research shows that being socially active increases longevity. As for me, I love the social activities and I love entertaining in my home, but I also like my private time. And sometimes I just like to be a homebody and stay here at home too. The community lifestyle is a wonderful experience as we get older. We don't feel alone in the world out there. We don't have to rely on our family to entertain us. That was something I never wanted my family to have to do, is feel like they were needing to entertain mom or she'd be alone. A community lifestyle can help you live your life much more productively for a longer period of time because we are more active and we do have people looking after us on a regular basis. My husband and I are in the process of relocating to another 55 plus community 3 hours away for various reasons that we made that choice. Even though we love this community, we made that choice to relocate. But as we were discussing that decision, I told him, I do not want to buy a house in the suburb. It has to be in a 55 plus community. I love the activity and the socialness of those communities. Some people have pointed out that a negative aspect is that children are not allowed in the facility very much. Well, some communities are stricter than others on that rule. If you're considering a community, be sure you check the rules that they have. Those of us who buy in a 55 plus community are doing so because they like that little quieter lifestyle space. It doesn't mean that we don't love children. I have 15 grandchildren and love them very much. But by having those rules about children, it assures the peace and quiet on the streets outside our homes. Most of us, as we age, we can't tolerate the running and high-pitched voices that small children tend to use. That doesn't mean we don't love them. We just can't deal with hearing it on a regular basis. As I said, I have a lot of grandchildren between my 4 sons, and I love every single one of them. But I do like my peace and quiet, and it gets pretty chaotic at their houses. And so I do choose a 55 plus community for the quietness. One time I mentioned living in a 55 plus community to somebody, and he said, but I don't want to live in a trailer park. I get that. Before we bought here in this park, I remember driving through the snowbird area of Arizona and joking about this being Tin City. But once I was exposed to community, I fell in love with it. And keep in mind, you don't have to live in a park model community. There are subdivisions of stick-built homes that are 55 plus communities that have a lot of the similar activities just as well. I hope now when you see a video about all the pitfalls of a 55 plus community, you'll take some of these points into consideration. I'm Esther. Welcome to my channel of the next chapter, where I talk about life over the age of 50, 60, and beyond. I hope some of this information was a little bit helpful to you, and I hope to see you on my next video.